Hello CA Final students, this is your Mr. GST CA Vishnuvardhan. In this video, we are going to quickly revise the topic called supply. As you all know, section 7 of CGST Act deals with supply. In supply, first of all, if you see, supply has been defined in section 7 subsection 1, and this has been defined in clause A, AA, B and C. So whatever the transaction happening, if that is falling within clause A, clause AA, clause B and clause C, then only we can call it as supply. Otherwise it is not a supply, and if it is not a supply, you cannot charge GST on that. That is what the whole idea. So for a transaction to charge GST or not, how do we decide? We decide only when that particular transaction is supply. So whether that particular transaction is supply or not, where it is defined in section 7 subsection 1 of CGST Act 2017. So that is what we are going to see here. Now first of all, before going into that section 7 subsection 1 clause A, section 7 subsection 1 clause A says, one second, clause A says, all forms of supply of goods or services or both for consideration done in the course or furtherance of business is what called as supply. That means for a transaction to be called as supply, first of all, there should be either goods or services or both, and next one, it should be done in the course or furtherance of business, and finally there should be consideration. So to understand this particular supply, we should be clear with 5 important definitions: goods, service, consideration, person and business. If you are clear with these 5 definitions, then the section 7 subsection 1 clause C, which is covering majority of the transactions, will be done. So now what are the meanings of these definitions? Let us understand one by one. As you all know, what do you mean by goods? Goods means nothing but every kind of mobile property, but other than money and securities. That means if you are dealing with money and if you are dealing with securities, shares, debentures, bonds, all that stuff, it is not goods. And also services definition is also excluding goods, money and securities. That means simple, money and securities are not at all goods, not at all services. So if you are dealing with money or if you are dealing with securities, no GST. That means I give you 1000 rupees and you give me 1000 rupees back, not goods, not service. Clear? So what is mean by goods? Goods means every kind of mobile property other than money and securities. Okay, we have understood they are not goods, but includes what? Includes even actionable claims, growing crops, grass and things attached to or forming part of land which are agreed to be severed. This is not served, I'm sorry, it is severed. That means separated from the land under the contract of supply. Please understand here, the interesting point is actionable claim. About that we will discuss later on, just keep in mind. So we have understood goods means nothing but every kind of mobile property other than money and securities, including growing crops, grass, all these things which you are agreeing to separate. Even though it is attached to land, you are agreeing to separate it from the land, then it is still we call as goods. So that is goods definition. Next, service definition. If you see service definition says service means anything but other than goods, money and securities. That means if it is already somewhere classifiable under goods definition, don't call it as service. And money and securities, not goods, not services also, so no GST. Simple. And here one interesting point is activities includes here somebody, you are allowing somebody to use your money or you are converting money from one form to another form for which a separate consideration is charged. That is also service. That means, for example, bank is giving loans and they are charging interest, or you are going to any forex dealer giving dollars and taking rupees, for which they are charging a separate consideration. So all these things are what? Service. If I give you 1 lakh and take 1 lakh, it is not a service. But if I give you 1 lakh and charge 1% interest, that 1% interest becomes service. Clear? So that is what? Service definition. Next, interesting thing, consideration. Consideration here in GST, consideration can be in cash, consideration can be in cash or it can be in kind, or also it can be, that means for example, I take lectures for you, you pay me 10,000 rupees, or I take lectures for you, you give me a BMW car. Both are nothing but what? Consideration. So cash or kind. Next one, sir, agreeing to do something or agreeing not to do something. For example, I'm going to a barber and he is doing haircut daily, regularly, not daily, sorry, regularly. Okay, so when he is doing a regular haircut to me, once he asked me to file his income tax return and I'm filing his income tax return. When I'm asking him the fees, he said, sir, for next 1 year, I will do haircut for you, sir, whenever you come to the salon. That means for the services, whatever I did, filing his income tax return, he is doing in return what? Haircut to me. So agreeing to do something or agreeing not to do something, these are also what? Consideration. That means consideration in simple terms, it can be cash or kind, or it can be somebody agreeing to do something for you, or agreeing not to do something for you. So exchange of goods and services, simple. That is also what consideration for whatever I am doing. Next, person definition. Person definition, if you see, simple, whatever the definition has been given in income tax, same definition plus central government and state government will give you person definition. Okay, now see, let us go with this definitions and we'll see some set of examples and close this transaction. Next, very important definition, business. See, in GST, business definition is so widely defined. Whatever they do, whatever you do, that will fall under business. You do normal trading, profession, manufacture, occasion, adventure, venture, or any. See, the law says any other similar activity. That means if they have forgot any wording here, the lawmakers, if you are good in Oxford Dictionary, all that, take any word which is of similar nature. Very important point is whether or not it is for pecuniary benefit. That means whether there is intention to make profit or not, it doesn't matter, sir, it is business. So generally, if you have intention to make profit only, we feel like business, otherwise charity. No, it is not like that. Even charitable institutions, we feel like they are doing business. Okay, that one. And irrespective, anything whatever is incidental for that, whatever is incidental for the main activities, that is also called business. And irrespective of whatever the volume you are doing, how regularly you are doing, how frequently you are doing, all these things, whatever you are doing, that is called business. And important thing here is the government undertaking the transactions which are assigned to them as a public authority, that is also what business. So business definition is so properly defined, except to what you do in your personal capacity. For example, let us assume here CA CA Ramesh, employee of Google, selling his personally used BMW car to CA Vishnuvardhan for 25 lakhs. Is this supply? No, this cannot be called as supply because he is selling this car, he is supplying this in his personal capacity. This is not business for him. This is not in the course of furtherance of business. But please understand, a private limited company, let us assume Vivar Private Limited, is disposing their old used car. That will be supply. So disposal of old assets is also part and parcel of business. That is also a business transaction. So it will attract GST. Are you understanding the point? But here this person has used this car for his personal purpose, now disposing that car. So it is not coming under business definition. Okay. Now, if he does the same thing, if he is selling it to a second-hand car dealer, Cars 24 Private Limited, then also you should see whether it is done in the course or furtherance of business or not from the supplier point of view, not from the recipient point of view. So here, same story, the person is selling car to me or the person is selling the used car to Cars 24 Private Limited, a second-hand car dealer. Still, it is not a supply because supply is not done in the course or furtherance of business. So the only thing which will escape this business concept is that whatever you do in the personal capacity. Otherwise, the business definition is so beautifully defined. Whatever you do will come under business definition. Okay, so that is the case. Suppose if now the Cars 24 Private Limited is selling that car to me, then for them it is obviously business. So it is supply. Okay, so business definition, I repeat, it is so widely defined. Even the charitable activities, whatever you are doing, you cannot say, sir, I don't have intention to make profit. For example, there is an yoga camp, yoga seminar going on, 100 rupees. That is supply done in the course of furtherance of business. You cannot say, sir, I am recovering the expenses here, I am not having any intention to pay or intention to earn profit. That way you cannot say, because we don't care about your intention whether you want to make profit or not. Okay, that is what the story. Fine. So we are clear with the definitions: goods, service, consideration, person, and business. Let us see some examples quickly. Now, first example, if you see, Hulk is selling to Doctor Strange the Stark Towers for 100 crores. Is it supply or not? Sir, land, immovable property. It is not a good, it is not a service, so not at all a supply. Here SOG, SOS means supply of goods, supply of service. It is not supply of good, it is not supply of service. Now, for example, if you see, Mr. Ranbir is transferring 1 lakh equity shares of Animal Private Limited to Rashmika for 25 lakh rupees. Is it supply or not? Because securities are neither good nor service, so it is not at all a supply. But Miss Joya, a stockbroker, she is facilitating the transaction between Ranbir and Rashmika. Further, she is charging a consideration, a commission of 20,000 rupees. Is it supply? Here she is facilitating the transaction of arranging the securities. She is not supplying securities. She is just facilitating the transaction. Okay, that is very much supply of service. Okay, that is example 2 for you. Next, you can just go through the small examples. Pushparaj selling the sandalwood trees, yes, supply of goods because they are attached to land, but you can separate them from the land. Next, Udta Punjab National Bank transferring cash of 250 crores to Chennai branch from Mumbai head office. It is merely money, not a supply. Next, Udta Punjab National Bank giving you loan to Ajay Malia for 9.75% interest per annum, 500 crores. So as I already told you, when extra consideration is charged for allowing somebody to use your money or converting money, for that you are charging extra consideration, that is very much what? Supply. So this is supply of service. Yes, supply of service. Same way, one person is converting money from dollars to rupees, where the forex dealer is charging commission or the bank is charging commission. Supply of service. Okay. Next. Hmm. So Vishnu is auditing the company. Supply of service. Next, MSD is endorsing a brand. Occasion. Yes, it is not business, but it is occasion. Occasion is nothing but which you don't undertake regularly, which is not your regular profession or trade. Next, Isha Foundation conducting a winter yoga camp for 100 rupees per person. There is no profit intention, but still we call it as business. So if all other conditions like good, service, consideration, everything is satisfied, yes, it will be treated as supply. Now see, for example, JK Shah classes, providing coaching to students. Main activity is what? Providing students. We are also providing books or materials for students, or conducting test series. All these things are incidental for us, but still that is business for us. So main activity is coaching. Incidental activity is providing test series or providing books, etc., etc., for example. So we cannot say this is nothing but incidental to us, this is not our main activity. So this is also business. Next, Greater Chennai Corporation, local authority, providing access to local park to general public. So providing access to a particular place is a service, and that is also treated as business. There is a consideration of 20 rupees per ticket, and this is provided by local authority, which is nothing but a person. So all the conditions are satisfied. There is service in the course of furtherance of business for consideration by a person. So it is happily what? Supply. So guys, please understand here, for a transaction to be called as supply, first thing what we have to see, there should be goods or services, and it should be done for consideration in the course or furtherance of business. If all these conditions are satisfied, then only we can call it as supply. Then only we can call it as supply. See, for example, here, CA Stark has been appointed as an internal auditor of Jurassic Park Private Limited. Sir, he is holding an office. Holding an office and providing your service is also what? Business. So there is, as per the business definition, so there is also business. Tamil Nadu state government providing some uh, security for your fourth wedding. Let us assume they are charging 50,000 rupees consideration. So that is also what? Business. What I am trying to tell is, even government doing their duty as a public authority is also business as per the definition. Okay, as I told you, except in your personal capacity, except in your personal capacity, whatever you do, that is business. Okay. Suppose, as I told you, Vivar Private Limited is disposing the old car of the company to Mr. Leo. Is it supply? Of course supply, because disposing the old assets is nothing but incidental to business activity. So incidental things is also what we call as business. So that is supply. Okay. So now please understand here. For example, you're going to Taj Hotel and having a tea cup of tea or coffee. Will they charge GST? Yes. You're going to a roadside tea stall. Same tea. Same tea powder also. Only difference will be the way they wash the vessels. That might be different. Apart from that, everything, the taste, everything is same to same. The color, the taste, the flavor, the aroma, everything is same. So why they are not charging GST? The reason is, sir, the roadside tea stall is not a taxable person. So supply should be made by the taxable person. That means there should be goods, there should be service or business should be there, consideration should be there, everything. But the supplier, the person who is making supply, should be a taxable person. So what do you mean by taxable person? Who is already registered under GST or who is liable for registration under section 22 or 24 is called as a taxable person. So always remember, when you are taking same good, in one place they are charging GST, another place they are not charging GST, means the reason will be the other person is not a taxable person. If he is a taxable person, then he has the responsibility to collect and pay tax to the government. So that is what the concept. Okay, from now remember, it is roadside tea stall and Taj Hotel. Whenever in further references I use roadside tea stall, you are drinking tea, means it means you are taking the supply from a non-taxable person. You are drinking tea in a Taj Hotel, means you are taking the supply from taxable person. Okay, so that way you remember in our further discussions also. So that is what supply all about. So 7.1a, if you see 7.1a, we have discussed. What is 7.1a? We have understood that for the purpose of 7.1a, we need, there should be at least goods or services or both. There should be consideration, and it should be done in the course of furtherance of business. Okay, now coming to the another point here, the consideration. When we are talking about consideration, normally there are some deposits taken by suppliers. Whether the deposits are treated as consideration or not, it purely depends upon the intention of the supplier. For example, you are going to a hostel, you're going to stay there, and they took some advance from you, 2 months deposit something. Is it consideration or not? See, first of all, that deposit, whatever they have taken, they are going to refund it to you when you are vacating the hostel. That means the supplier never intended to take it as a consideration. He just took it as a security. He will return it to you. Then it is not a consideration. No, sir, he has taken the deposit and he will be adjusting that in monthly rentals. That means his intention is to treat that deposit as a consideration. That means if it is refundable, then he is not treating it as consideration, so it is not a consideration. If it is non-refundable, then he is adjusting it for consideration, then it is treated as consideration. Okay, so that is what the point. So deposits purely depends upon the intention of the supplier. Clear? Right. So with this, we are done with 7.1a fully. Here and there some small clarifications are there. Let us see that. So here, two clarifications. One is with respect to, there are artists. What artists are doing? Sir, artists are drawing the paintings and they are having their paintings in their particular house or office. From this house or office, they are sending these paintings to the art gallery or exhibition. Somewhere exhibitions are happening. You are conducting an art exhibition. I am an artist. I am drawing a painting and I am sending that painting to you. I am sending that painting to you to exhibit in that exhibition. Somebody comes and buys it if they likes. Okay, let it get sold. You take your commission and pay me money. That is what our arrangement. So now I am sending the artwork from my office or residence to your exhibition location. Sending this painting from my place to your place, is it a supply? Oh, it can be supply, sir. There should be consideration. No, there is no consideration here. So we cannot call it as supply. Yes, if that painting gets sold from your art exhibition, then it is supply. There is no doubt about that. The only doubt is, sir, from my location, from the residence of the artist or office of the artist, the paintings are sent to the art galleries exhibition. Whether that will be called as supply means no, because you are just sending it. There is no consideration. So that is first clarification. The another clarification here is with respect to, you will be visiting various religious premises or charitable organizations, etc., etc. In those premises, you would have come across there are so many donations, etc., or there will be, like, for example, you see an AC. On the top of the AC, they would have put up a sticker like donated by the great, the honorable chartered accountant Vishnuvardhan, like that. Imagine if they have put the sticker. I gave the AC for what purpose? For advertising my brand name, advertising my office name. For example, you see a water purifier in any particular temple or etc. place, so they would have mentioned donated by so and so company. So is that temple or etc. anybody taking that donation is to advertise that particular person name? Here the main criteria is, please understand, what is the intention in giving this donation is what matters. For example, you have passed your CA exam, and while studying for CA exams or when you are waiting for the results, you went to ISKCON temple and prayed to God, Swami, this time if I pass, I will donate a water purifier to your ISKCON temple. So you have passed and you are donating. And after donating the ISKCON temple, people are putting up the stickering on the water purifier, all that stuff, or you are putting up your stickering and giving like donated by CA so and so, or let us assume donated by Vishnuvardhan and associates, like that. You are giving the water purifier with the name. Here, please understand, they are displaying the name or you are printing the name, all that stuff. See, that is only to show that gratitude. For example, ISKCON temples are putting donated by Vishnuvardhan. Why they are putting my name? Why they are putting my company name? All that stuff purely to show their gratitude. To show their gratitude. So when that is done, that printing the names, etc., etc., to express the gratitude towards the donor, then it is not a supply, because there is no direct consideration which is flowing. I gave the water purifier, I gave the donation something. What is that in return I am getting? There is no direct nexus, there is no direct consideration here, so it is not a supply. But you imagine during this Sri Krishna Janmashtami festival, I know that so many students will go to temple, all that stuff. So I'm going to ISKCON temple board and telling, sir, this time during ISKCON, Sri Krishna Janmashtami, I will donate 10 lakh rupees for ISKCON temple. They said like, thank you, Swami. I said, I don't want thanks, but I want outside the temple a 10 feet banner of me in front and background Lord Sri Krishna. Okay, and there should be a tagline there: for all your CA inter and final IDT, contact Mr. GST CA Vishnuvardhan, like that. We are putting the advertisement. That should be the thing. Then only I will give you donation 10 lakhs, I told. Now, is it a supply or not? Yes, that is supply. Please understand, when I'm giving donation, the name is not important here, sir. I am giving donation, fine, but that name is not important here. We should understand the purpose. So my donation has a direct nexus, direct consideration of what? Advertising my brand name or advertising my name. So that is obviously treated as supply. Okay, so that is what with respect to GST on display of name of donors in the premises of the charitable organization. The next clarification is, see, actually when there is any oil exploration or production contract entered between government and the private people, sir, what they do is they will say you explore the oil, all that stuff, but you should share the profit petrol you have extracted here with the government. That means, for example, see here, for example, you got the license to explore the petroleum, crude or natural gas. Now you have, imagine, let us assume you have extracted 100 lakh liters. In that, first, out of, like, when you extract that 100 lakh liters, as per the agreement, you can sell the petrol to recover whatever the cost you have incurred first. After that, whatever left out, that is called profit petroleum. In that, you should give some share to the government. So out of this 100 lakh liters petrol, whatever you have extracted, 20 lakh liters is to recover your cost you are using. That means you are selling all the stuff. Now, what is that government getting from this 20 lakh liter petrol? Nothing. So there is no consideration here to the government. Nothing has been paid to the government. No service is provided to the government. Okay, no goods is sold to the government. Remaining balance 80 lakh liter petrol, here 30 lakh liters is given as the share of the government. The share of the government. So now this 30 lakh liters, why am I giving as a share to the government? Because government gave me the license to explore that petroleum. So this 30 lakh liters is nothing but consideration paid by me to the government for giving me the permission to explore the petroleum. So that is treated as supply. But however, that is exempt under GST. No need to worry. This is another clarification. Right. So let us move on to the next one. GST implication on certain financial transactions. Important one. A simple and important clarification here. See, there's GST implication on certain financial instruments. Before going to this, you should remember that money and securities are not a supply. Now the doubt is, sir, what about commercial papers or certificate of deposits or any drafts or letters of credit we are issuing? What is the tax treatment for that? They are nothing but coming within the ambit of money. They are also nothing but another form of money. And you know, money is outside the ambit of GST. So these things are outside the ambit of supply and no GST. But for issuing this commercial paper, certificate of deposits or issue of drafts, etc., any other service charges you are taking, documentation charges you are taking, whatever it is, extra things, that will be treated as supply. Okay, just like when you are selling the land, sale of land is not a supply. But for selling the land, some real estate agent is providing his services, broker, that is supply. Documentation charges, that is supply. The legal advisory services a lawyer is providing, that is supply. So that way, here also, sir, commercial papers, all these things, certificate of deposits are nothing but another form of money, and they are nothing but outside the ambit of supply, and hence no GST. But any extra service charges collected for issuing all these things, then that is supply. Sir, what about derivatives, sir? Derivatives like forward contracts, futures, interest swaps, foreign exchange swaps, all that. So these things, what about these things, sir? Sir, whether it is supply or not. Okay. So for that we should understand, sir, securities includes derivatives. Securities includes derivatives. So derivatives are neither goods nor services, hence it is not liable to GST. Okay. But here one interesting thing is, sir, when I'm dealing with derivatives, there are two ways. When you're dealing with derivatives, you may settle the transaction by actually delivering the underlying asset or by settling with the differential amount. If you are actually delivering the underlying asset, then it will become supply and hence liable to GST. No, sir, I am not settling it with the underlying asset. I am not delivering the underlying asset. I am just settling it with the differential price, whatever I have entered that derivatives, forward contract, etc. With the difference price, we are just booking the profit or loss and coming out. Then it is absolutely securities. Then no GST on that. So that is what the treatment for derivatives. Same way, sale or purchase of this debts, anything like when we are having, like, let us assume 100 crores debts, we are selling that 100 crore debt. This is nothing but what? Money. You are exchanging money, so that is also not a supply. So these are the key things with respect to financial transactions. And one more point is with respect to lending of security services. In lending of security services, you are not selling the security, you are just allowing somebody to use your securities, for which you are charging a separate consideration. So it is very much treated as service and hence it is taxable only. And if you remember, you will be seeing this in reverse charge mechanism also, the security lending services coming under RCM. Okay, so this is another clarification for you. With this, we are done with 71A. So the next one is section 7 subsection 1 clause AA, which is having a non obstante clause. This clause has been introduced just to override a Supreme Court judgment where they are trying to say now if there is any body, organization, maybe association of persons, body of individuals, even a partnership firm, among themselves if they are doing anything, see there is no separate legal entity concept itself there. So if there is a unregistered AOP, there is no separate legal entity concept. So within that, whatever the members are there, the members and the entity as a whole is nothing but one and the same. So now one person cannot perform supply to himself. So to override that judgment given in one of the case laws by Honorable Supreme Court, now what we are doing, we are countering that by giving this particular clause AA, saying that even though there are no two different persons, any activities between the members or that particular entity are treated as supply other than individuals. For individuals, this situation itself will never come. So simple, sir, when the transactions are happening between any unincorporated body or association and its members other than individual, of course, as I told, individual situations will not come here, shall be treated as supply. Sir, there are no two separate persons. No, sir, that concept itself will not apply here because there is a deeming provision here saying that they are deemed to be two separate persons. Doctrine of mutuality, all that stuff doesn't work here, or any Supreme Court judgment or court tribunal, any judgment that will not be valid here. So that is what they have tried to bring here. So that is what State of West Bengal versus Calcutta Club Limited, in that the judgment has been delivered by Honorable Supreme Court. To override the judgment, they brought into this section 7 subsection 1 clause AA. So what is clause AA? Clause AA is nothing but, sir, unincorporated body or association providing to the members or the members to the unincorporated body will be treated as supply even though there are no two separate persons. That is what 71 AA. Now let's move on to 71B. 71B, now again the easy one. See, understand, when we are discussing 71A, 71A actually needs business and consideration, very important things. So A needs B and C, but B says I am B, I don't need B. That means in clause B there is an exception to business. Same way clause C says I am C, I don't want C. That means this is an exception to consideration. What I am trying to tell here you is, remember the clauses like this. 71A needs, obviously everywhere goods or services should be there, provided by a person should be there. But in 71A the key points are business and consideration. But in clause B, B for business is not required. Clause C, C for consideration, not required. Okay. What clause B says? What clause B says? Okay. Clause B says importation of services for consideration, whether or not in the course or furtherance of business. Whether or not in the course or furtherance of business. That means, see, for example, now Miss Ivanka Trump is providing services to Mr. Sallu Khan regarding how to maintain the bachelorship for a consideration of 1 lakh rupees. This is for Sallu Khan personal services. Yes, but when importation of service is happening, whether there is business element is there or not, doesn't matter, sir, it is supply if there is consideration. Same case, see, for example, Donald Trump is providing advisory services to Mr. SRK regarding his film production business, Red Chillies Entertainments, for 10 lakh US dollars. Is it supply or not? As I already told you, if it is importation of service, if there is consideration, blindly you can close your eyes and tell that is supply. So importation of service for consideration, right away supply. Why I am importing, that doesn't matter. Why I am importing, that doesn't matter. And one more thing I just wanted to tell you, when you are talking about importation, you are talking about the recipient. You're talking about the recipient. So whatever you see the condition should be seen from recipient point of view. Okay, so keep this in mind always. Okay, now coming to the point, as I told you, sir, importation of service for consideration, whether or not in the course of furtherance of business is a supply as per 71B. Sir, now what about goods, sir? What about goods? The goods, when you are importing or exporting, they are covered under customs law. Only services, import and export, are covered under GST. So importation of service, even though it is without business purpose, it will be treated as supply as per 71B. So that is what the flowchart given here. So hope it is clear. So this is the only case where you see exception to business. Okay, so with this we are done with 71B. As I was telling you, 71C talks about exception to consideration. Sir, generally to call it as a supply, the transaction, it needs consideration. But even though there is no consideration, section 7 subsection 1 clause C read along with schedule 1 says, I have given, clause C says, go and refer schedule 1. In schedule 1 there are 4 activities mentioned. Those 4 activities, even though there is no consideration, you treat it as supply. You treat it as supply. That means what they are trying to tell, see, if there is any question with respect to whether a transaction is supply or not, first of all, we should see goods or services, by person, consideration, business. If there is no consideration in that transaction, what you have to do? If there is no consideration in that particular transaction, you should not say straight away this is not a supply. You should go and refer schedule 1. In schedule 1 there are 4 activities. See activity para 1, para 2, para 3, para 4. Given transaction, can you fit anywhere in these 4 activities? Then it will be called as supply. No sir, I am not able to fit it anywhere sir in these 4 situations, then it is not a supply. So I repeat, if there is no consideration in transaction, straight away go to schedule 1. In schedule 1, if you are able to fit it, then it is supply. If you are not able to fit that in schedule 1, it is not a supply. Okay, so what are the 4 activities sir? What are the 4 activities? First of all, first activity, para 1. Para 1 says permanent transfer or disposal of business asset on which ITC was taken. That means we have purchased some goods, we have booked them in our books, took ITC, we are freely disposing that to some other person. For example, you are a chartered accountant in practice running your business. For your business purpose, you are buying a laptop, showing that it is a business purpose, you are buying a MacBook and gifting it to your girlfriend on Valentine's Day. You have taken ITC on that MacBook. Now what you are doing? You are permanently transferring or disposing that MacBook. Then still it is called as supply, even though there is no consideration. Am I clear? See, generally if there is consideration, no problem, it is supply. But here what we are saying, even though there is no consideration, we are calling it as supply. So that is para 1. Or para 2. The para 2 talks about the interesting para or lengthiest para we will going to discuss here. The transaction is happening between related person or distinct persons. Please understand, here it is not from related person to distinct person, or it is not from distinct person to related person. This is not the case. It is between related person. That means related person to related person or distinct person to distinct person. In such cases, even though there is no consideration, but if it is in the course or furtherance of business, then it is treated as supply. That means you should know the meaning of related person and distinct person. Related person, distinct person. First I'll tell you the basic fundamental difference. Understand, related person means there are 2 persons, we are talking about the relation. Distinct person means only 1 person, we are treating them as 2. Okay, so I repeat, related person, there are 2 persons, we are talking about the relation. Distinct person, only 1 fellow, you are treating them as 2 persons. Okay, so who are related person? Between them anything happening without consideration is also supply if it is for business purpose. I repeat, if it is for business purpose is important there. Next, number 2, sir, distinct persons, they are treated as distinct persons. Between them anything is happening without consideration, but in the course of furtherance of business, still we call it as what? Supply, even though there is no consideration. Okay, first let us understand who are related persons. So related person, you have 9 points here. So look at this, what are the 9 points with respect to related person? Easy one, you might have gone through already. Just a quick recap. So what is that? These 2 people, Vishnu and Vamsi, officers or directors of one another's business, we are calling them as related. These 2 people are legally recognized as partners. Vishnu and Vamsi both are partners in a partnership firm. Or employer and employee, we call them as a related person. Mark that employer employee important, because we'll have a detailed discussion about that employer employee concept. Okay, so employer employee, again an important concept which will have an elaborate discussion. Next, they are called as related. Anything happening between them is supply, even without consideration. And next, when there is any common ownership, for example, Vishnu is holding 70% ownership in Boys Private Limited and Vishnu is holding 30% ownership in Girls Private Limited. Boys Private Limited and Girls Private Limited are becoming related. That means because of common ownership of Mr. Vishnu, where greater than or equal to 25% of the outstanding voting stock I am holding. That means common ownership. Because of common ownership, they are becoming related person. Next, sir, one of them are directly or indirectly holds the other person. Holding company, subsidiary company. Next, both of them are directly, indirectly controlled by a third person. As I told, here there is a common ownership. There can be common control also. So because of that, they are becoming related. Please understand, in point number 4 and 6, there are 3 persons. Out of the 3, 2 members are commonly controlled by third person, or in these 2 entities, this fellow is having common ownership greater than or equal to 25%. Okay, remember that. Next, together they are directly, indirectly controlling a third person. That means these 2 people are controlling this fellow. Then these 2 people are called related. These 2 people becomes related. Hope it is clear for you. Next, members of a same family. Sir, what do you mean by family here? Members of a same family when you say? So what do you mean by family? Family definition clearly says here, parents and grandparents. There's the definition here. You will be getting this in this particular page. Okay, parents, grandparents, brothers and sisters. Only when they are wholly or mainly dependent on you, then only they are your family. But your spouse and children, they are your family no matter whether you like them or not. I mean, whether they are dependent on you or not, they are your family. So family definition is your spouse and your children always your family. Your parents, grandparents, brothers and sisters are your family only when they are wholly or mainly dependent on you. Then otherwise they are not your family. Okay, fine. So these are the meanings of related person. So these people are related person. Okay. Now, or sir, I have a sole agent, my entire production I'll give only to one agent or one distributor, then we call them as sole agent or sole distribution or sole concessionary, whatever name called, sir, that person is called related person. Among these people, if anything is happening without consideration, then it is supply. That means from subsidiary company to holding company or holding to subsidiary or anything, as we have discussed, family business we are doing, then we are, let us assume father is the manufacturer, son is a distributor, father is sending the stock to the son in the course or furtherance of business without consideration, then it is supply. So that way, if you are satisfying the meaning of related person and between you, if there is a transaction happening without consideration, then it is supply, even though it is done without consideration. But main criteria is you should be related person, and the next one is it should be done in the course or furtherance of business. That is very important. Okay, now sir, okay, related person we have understood, and between them whatever is happening without consideration is supply. If it is done in the course or furtherance of business, fine. But what do you mean by distinct person? What do you mean by distinct persons? So if you are a distinct person, between you anything is happening without consideration is a supply. That is for sure, correct? Now, what do you mean by distinct persons? Normally, you know that you have an idea that when you are operating from multiple states, you have multiple registrations. But when you are operating in same state, multiple registrations are optional. That depends upon you to take a call. So multiple registrations for the same person are possible, either within the same state or in the different states. So when we are talking about distinct person, you should keep this in mind. A single person, how can I identify this fellow as a single person? Based upon the PAN, that this person having multiple registrations in the same state or in different states, whatever it is. Sir, if any person is having multiple registrations, maybe in the same state or different states, when you compare these two different registrations of same person, they are belonging to same person, but they will be treated as distinct person. Anything happening between them, for example, Vishnuvardhan is having a business, furniture dealer. Vishnuvardhan is having business branch in Tamil Nadu also, branch in Karnataka also. Sir, both are belonging to Vishnuvardhan individual. Vishnuvardhan in Karnataka, Vishnuvardhan in Andhra Pradesh are different persons? No. So Vishnuvardhan in Andhra Pradesh, Vishnuvardhan in Karnataka, Vishnuvardhan in Tamil Nadu, wherever, he is one and the same. But for GST purpose, those registrations of Vishnuvardhan will be treated as registrations belonging to different persons. So distinct persons, the meaning is given in section 25, subsection 4 and subsection 5. Subsection 4 says in two different states, sorry, you should have two different registrations, maybe in same state or maybe in different states. As I told you, Vishnuvardhan registered in Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, or Vishnuvardhan is having two registrations in Tamil Nadu, whatever it is, maybe in Chennai one registration, Coimbatore another registration, maybe I am doing furniture business also, restaurant business also in Tamil Nadu. For restaurant business I have a separate registration, furniture business I have a separate registration possible. So two different registrations is the primary criteria. Two different registration, same state or different states, these two registrations are called as belonging to distinct person. Clear? Or section 25 subsection 5 says two different states, one state registered, another state unregistered. One state registered, another state unregistered. Okay, then also you are called as distinct person. For example, in Goa I am selling liquor, I did not take registration because I am selling only liquor. In Karnataka I have a restaurant and I took registration. So in Karnataka I am a registered person, Goa I am not registered, correct? So with respect to these two things, both are my establishments, but one is registered, one is unregistered. Still we call it as establishments belonging to distinct persons. Both are belonging to Vishnu, but still we call them as both are belonging to distinct persons. Am I clear? So now anything happening between them is what? Anything happening between them is supply, even though there is no consideration. Those who are you are watching the recording, yes. So pause the video and just go through this example. Pause the video and go through this example. See whether you're able to understand the question or not and the example or not, and then continue the video. So if you look here, Chennai to Tirupati, both are belonging to Vivad Notebooks Private Limited. Chennai, Tamil Nadu registered, Tirupati, Andhra Pradesh registered. Both are having separate registrations, but both are belonging to Vivad Notebooks Private Limited. Now, as I told you, 25 subsection 4 needs two different registrations. Here we have two different registrations. Between them, they are doing stock transfer without consideration. Still, we call it as supply because there are two different registrations. 25 subsection 4, same state or different state, it doesn't matter. So they are distinct persons. Anything happening between them without consideration is a supply. Okay. Now here, if you see Chennai and Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu, both are under same registration. So when both are under same registration, 25 subsection 4 needs two different registrations. Here there is only one registration, so we cannot impose subsection 4. So fine. 25 subsection 5. 25 subsection 5 needs two different states. Here there is only one state. Both are belonging to Tamil Nadu. Then you cannot fit this in subsection 4 or you cannot fit this in subsection 5. So both the cases, it is not at all satisfying distinct persons concept. So here stock transfer from Chennai to Coimbatore is not a supply because they are not distinct persons and there is no consideration, no supply. Nowhere you can fit this in schedule 1 transactions. So it is not a supply. Okay, so that is what the point. Same way here the examples, if you see Tirupati Andhra Pradesh, Vijayawada Andhra Pradesh branch, both are having different registrations. Subsection 4 says two different registrations. Same state or different state, it doesn't matter. Both are called as distinct persons and hence it is supply even though without consideration. Next, fourth situation satisfies 25 subsection 5. So one state registered, another state unregistered. So stock transfer without consideration in the course of furtherance of business, that is also supply. So hope that is clear for you. With this we are done with related person and distinct persons except that employer-employee concept. Let us finish that employer-employee concept also. As you all know, employer-employee, sir, this people are called as related person. And generally when you see employee concept, employee is drawing salary from the employer and whatever the services employee is providing to employer in the course of employment contract is not a supply as per schedule. As per schedule what? Schedule 3. What is schedule 3? Neither supply would not supply of service. So if you analyze this situation, if you analyze this situation, as I was telling, schedule 1 and schedule 3 put together the common reading, the employee providing to employer his services in the course of employment, and as a part of employment contract whatever the employer pays to employee, that may be salary, that may be perquisites. Please understand, perquisites also will form part of employment contract. So salary and perquisites, both whatever he is getting paid from the employer because he is providing his services in the nature of employment contract according to employment contract, both are coming under schedule 3. So it is neither SOG nor SOS. It is not at all a supply. So this is number 1. Okay, but sir, during this certain things are provided by employer to employee which are not even forming part of this employment contract. What about them? That means, see, for example, there is any new year celebration happening or there is any best employee award given. In that case, some gifts are given by employer to employee which are not mentioned in employment contract. It is not a salary, it is not a perquisite, which is not mentioned in the employment contract at all. Then in such cases understand what happens is this becomes gift. That means without consideration, because this is for the services you are providing as an employee. I am paying you salary and perquisites, so whatever extra is given, that is nothing but gift, and if it is not defined under GST, that's a different story. And schedule 1 says employer and employee are related and anything happening between them is a supply. So these gifts given by employer to employee is nothing but attracting schedule 1 transaction para 2. So now we came up with a relaxation saying that if at all aggregate value of gifts given by the employer to the employee in the financial year, so per annum per employee greater than 50,000, if we give anything, then only that entire amount is supply. If it is less than or equal to 50,000 per annum per employee, it is not at all a supply. But I repeat, if it is 70,000 aggregate, that means all the gifts given in the year, if you add, once you give 10,000, another time you give 5,000, another time you give 20,000, all these things, sir, you add and see it. If it is exceeding 50,000, let us assume if it is 70,000, total 70,000 becomes taxable. But if it is falling within 50,000 limit, that is less than or equal to 50,000, then it is not a supply at all. So that is what the point. So this is something related to employment contract, all that fine. Suppose one more step ahead, if we discuss, What if employee is providing to the employer some other services which are not even covered under employment contract? That means that so long we have discussed payment is covered under employment contract or not. Payment is covered under employment contract, then it is salary or perquisite, it is not taxable, not a supply because of schedule 3. If something extra is given, it is treated as gift and we have seen 50,000 relaxation. But sir, if at all the work itself, whatever I am doing, for example, you are acting as CFO of my company, you are providing your services, getting salary and perquisites, not a supply, and extra I'm giving gift during Diwali or New Year, 50,000 limit we have. What if you're acting as a CFO of my company and personally also you are providing me some investment advisory services for which I'm giving you some consideration? This is not a service which you are providing to me as per employment contract. So automatically this is what? This is supply and attracts GST. Are you understanding the point? This is not at all covered under employment contract. I repeat, anything you provide outside the employment contract, for that if I pay consideration to you, that will automatically attract supply provisions and hence it will be liable to pay GST. Clear? So that is what the employer-employee discussion. So again, summarizing the concept, the employer-employee concept, employer paying to employee salary, perquisites, all these things for the work done in the employment contract, not a supply because of schedule 3. If anything extra is given which is not mentioned in employment contract, any consideration extra, anything is given extra, that is nothing but gift. For that we have 50,000 limit, we can enjoy. No sir, the work itself, what employee is doing to the employer is not covered in employment contract. That means it will not come under schedule 3, hence it is supply, it will attract GST. So that is what the comprehensive discussion of employer and employee. So here there is the example for employer-employee concept. So we were private limited paying to the employees Mr. Animal, Mr. Tiger, Mr. Leo, Mr. Animal, Mr. Tiger, all this value of gifts, all that. So you can just go through the example. We have clearly discussed it. The next one is para 3. Para 3 is nothing but principal and agent concept. You know that if anything is happening between principal and agent, here the important thing is anything means here we are talking only about goods, not about services. So goods are going from principal to agent or from agent to principal, that without consideration still we call it as supply. Still we call it as supply when agent has the authority to raise invoice in his own name, then only schedule 1 para 3 can be invoked. So please understand here, for example, Vishnu is having an agent. Vishnu is selling notebooks and he has an agent by name Mr. Spartan in Coimbatore. CBE means Coimbatore. So here I am sending the goods. Here the concept is all about principal sending the goods to agent, agent sending the goods to principal. That will be still called as supply if agent has the authority to raise invoice on that particular transactions, for the transactions. Now Vishnu, the principal, is sending the goods to agent and he is asking to sell the notebooks to the local bookstall owners in Coimbatore. Spartan also said, okay sir, I will do it. But now when Spartan is selling it to the local bookstall owners, who is raising invoice to the local bookstall owners is what matters. Sir, when the principal himself is raising invoice to the local bookstall owners, so whatever is the movement happening between principal and agent is not a supply. Okay, directly principal is raising invoice on the bookstall owners, fine. But sir, if agent only raises the invoice to the local bookstall owners, that is Spartan only raising invoice in his own name, then this movement of goods from principal to agent will be treated as supply. That is what the concept. Okay, so that is what all about that. So with this we are done with para 3 also. Let us move on to para 4. Okay, coming to para 4. Sir, what is para 4? Para 4 is all about importation of services without consideration from a related person or own establishment located outside India in the course of furtherance of business, as we have told. So here importation of services we have already seen. So importation of services, when you see, we can compare this with clause B, section 7 subsection 1 clause B. In 7 subsection 1 clause B, what it says, consideration should be definitely there, but here consideration should not be there. Here it may be in the course or furtherance of business, it doesn't matter. So business requirement is not there, but here business requirement is mandatory. 7.1b, supplier should be, can be any person, but here in schedule 1 it should be related person or own establishment located outside India, then only what we call it as supply. Okay, so if importation of service is tested with consideration, now go to clause B, without consideration, now come to clause C. So as per clause C, what are the conditions? Conditions are, it should be without consideration, in the course or furtherance of business and from a related person or own establishment located outside India, then only we can call it as supply. For example, Mr. Mahendra Bahubali, who is a lawyer in USA, the son of Devasena. Devasena mother is staying in India, right? So now Mahendra Bahubali is providing legal advisory services to his mother for filing a divorce suit without consideration, obvious. Now, is it a supply or not? Please understand. Now, the important thing is whether this is supply or not, we should see from Devasena's point of view, not from Bahubali's point of view. Because importation of service, the recipient is liable to pay GST. You know that the recipient is liable to pay GST. So, we should see from whose point of view? We should see from recipient's point of view. So, recipient point of view, if you see, this is importation of service from son, related person, without consideration. Is it in the course or furtherance of business? Devasena, for her personal purpose, she is importing the service here. There is no business element, so it is not a supply. But same Devasena, if she is importing the legal advisory services from her son without consideration for filing a suit against Mahishmati and Co. Ballal Dev, with respect to Mr. Ballal Dev, with respect to her business Mahishmati and Co., then importation of service is there from her son, related person, without consideration, and it is in the course or furtherance of business, then automatically we call it as what? We call it as supply. So obviously, so please understand, whether it is for business or not, we should not see from supplier point of view, we should see from recipient's point of view. Please understand, when it is importation of service, yes, generally supply we should see whether it is for business or not from supplier's point of view, but in case of importation we should see from recipient's point of view, importation of service, whether it is business purpose or not, as per schedule 1. Am I clear? So that is what the point. Same story here, if you see again with respect to Mr. Kattappa, same story, just I'm changing the character. Mr. Kattappa, father of Devasena, who is in USA, he's a lawyer. Now please understand, both the cases, again personal purpose and business purpose. Here please understand, both the cases it will not be supply, whether it is personal purpose or business purpose, because you should see whether Kattappa is related person to Devasena or not. Kattappa is the father of Devasena. When she is looking at the father is a lawyer in USA, that means he is not wholly or mainly dependent on Devasena. Parents are my relatives only when they are wholly or mainly dependent on me. So according to Devasena, father Kattappa is not related to her. Even though she is importing the service for her business purpose here, it cannot be called as supply. It cannot be called as supply. Hope you are able to understand. Just pause the video and just go through this explanation. What I am trying to tell is, as per GST law, I am always related person to my mother, but my mother is not related to me because she is not wholly or mainly dependent on. You understanding the point? So for my mother, I am always a related person, if you see from my mother's point of view. But for me, from my point of view, my mother is not related to me because she is not wholly or mainly dependent on me. So that is the interesting point here in related person, the family definition especially. Okay, hope it is clear for you. So with this, we are done with para 4 also. We are done with schedule 1 completely. Hope it is clear for you. Now let us move on to schedule 2. Schedule 2 is nothing but, if a transaction is already treated as supply, whether it should be treated as supply of goods or supply of services. So I always tell schedule 2 is either SOG or SOS, supply of goods or supply of service. So there are the general points which you can go through. Here the interesting thing is, see, when you're transferring title in goods, okay, sir, what I say is, just take it this way. This transfer of title. Transfer of title in movable property, then it is supply of goods. If it is transfer of title in immovable property, you cannot call it as supply of good or supply of service. No sir, I am not transferring the title, I am just transferring the right to use. If you are transferring the right to use, whether it is movable property or immovable property, it is obviously treated as supply of service. With this logic, you can just crack various points here. So just make sure you are thorough with this flowchart. Simple one. Next, as I already told you, transfer of title, transfer of right to use, transfer of title at a future agreed date, or current date, it doesn't matter whether are you transferring the title or not, that is what matters. So supply of goods. Next, transfer of right to use the land, that is immovable property, right to use services, letting out any properties, building, supply of services. Next, somebody doing treatment or process on the goods belonging to another person, job work, example, supply of services. Your business assets are being transferred or disposed of because they are no longer to form part of your assets, supply of goods, permanently or completely transferring or disposing the business assets. As I told, transfer of title, supply of goods. Goods which are your business assets are put to private use or allowing somebody to use for any purpose other than business. That means personal purpose. That means you're allowing somebody to use it. You are not selling. You are just allowing somebody to use. Supply of service. Next, where you are closing down your business, the goods which are forming part of your business, if they are lying still in the godown, they are deemed to be supply. But if you are not closing down the business, you are just transferring the business to somebody else, then it is not a supply. Or your business is going to be carried out by any person who is treated as a personal representative, then also it is not a supply. Simple thing, your business you are closing down, whatever the goods are lying now in the business will be deemed to be supply. Even though you have not actually supplied, you should pay GST and close it. But there are two exceptions. One is, if at all you are selling the business, that means the other fellow will carry on the business, so there is no problem to the government. Or if the business is carried out by any authorized representative, then also fine. That means business is not getting closed, just the owner is being changed or taxable person is being changed. Now, renting of immovable property, temporary transfer of or permitting use of enjoyment of any intellectual properties like trademark, patents, all that stuff, or any developing the design or any softwares, etc., etc. All these things are what? Supply of service only. For this I have given notes, you can just refer the notes here. So intellectual property rights, permanent transfer, supply of goods, temporary transfer, supply of services. IT software, pre-packed form, supply of goods, that is coming in music, CDs, etc., etc. Others, it is service only. Okay, so that way you can just take it up. Next, construction. This is very, very important one. For this I have also given an example. Simple, if there is any under construction building, if it is being sold, whether it is supply or not, it will be treated as supply even if 1 rupee consideration is taken before the completion certificate or first occupation, whichever is earlier. So if you are constructing anything, under construction things, anything, if you are buying, so even if the, see, understand, if the building is already ready made, it is like ready made product but immobile, so if you sell that, it is not a supply because it is not good, it is not service. But if it is still under construction, you go and pay 1 rupee advance. That means you are hiring that opposite fellow to construct your house, so it will be treated as supply of construction services for you, so it is service. So I repeat, under construction buildings, supply of service. It is completely constructed, immobile, it is not a supply. Clear? So this is the example and you have the answer for this. You can just go through that. Okay, that is important point here. So construction one, so in this schedule 2, this is important thing. Next, here one more thing is there, agreeing to tolerate something. This is also important, so we'll discuss here. So the analysis has been given here. And I repeat, if you are buying the under construction properties, the total consideration will become supply of service, not just the advance amount what you give during the construction. So even though you have given 10 rupees advance during the construction, the total building cost will be treated as supply of service. Next, works contract. Works contract. What do you mean by works contract? Generally, when you talk about immobile property, if the contractor brings only the labor, that is called pure labor contract. No, sir, the contractor is bringing both labor and material, then we call it as works contract. See, if they are just bringing the labor and doing the construction related activities also, then it is supply of service. Or they are bringing both material and labor and doing the construction work, then also it is called supply of service only. Technical meanings will change. That is pure labor contract, this is called works contract. Remember this word works contract, very important. So always remember, works contract means with respect to construction, both goods and services the contractor is providing, the material and labor both he is only bringing. That is what we call as works contract. So remember, very, very important wording. But both are, pure labor contract is also service, works contract is also supply of service, nothing to worry about. Next, supply of food and beverages. The restaurant services, supply of service only. So that also schedule 2, last point. Okay, so with this we are done with schedule 2, except that some clarifications below. Now this is one interesting clarification given by the department. Actually, after 5 years of implementing GST, in this clarification they have discussed about various occasions and whether it is taxable or not. See, the fundamental concept of this particular clarification is, when you have an agreement to do something or not to do something or tolerate something, for that agreement, either to do something or not to do something or tolerate something, for this agreement, if there is also consideration, then only we call it as supply. Okay, that means, now see, for example, sir, you are driving a bike, and when you are driving the bike without helmet, if the traffic police is charging 1000 rupees penalty or fees, Please understand that 1000 rupees is not a consideration for violating the law. Correct? The same way, when you are entering into a contract with a person and you are breaching the contract, and because of the breach of contract, you are paying the penalty or liquidated damages. Is it consideration for breaching the contract? No, that is compensation you are paying to the opposite fellow because he has incurred some loss because of you breached the contract. So, because of this, please understand here the fundamental thing is that if there is agreement to do something and further there is consideration, if there is agreement not to do something and there is consideration, agreement to tolerate something and there is some consideration, then only it is called supply. So, taking that logic into picture here, see, any liquidated damages are not consideration for breaching the contract. So, it is not a supply, not taxable. Cancellation of coal blocks. The government has entered into a contract where the private entities have been allotted with coal blocks, and those contract has been breached by the government and they have paid damages to them. So again, breach of contract, the damages paid not because of an agreement to tolerate the breach, all that. So this is not a supply, so no GST. Next, check dishonor charges. Bank is agreeing to, like, okay, no problem, you deposit the check without balance also, let it get dishonored, you pay us this much fees, like that they are asking consideration. No, that is penalty for you to depositing the check without sufficient balance. Any other penalty imposed for violating any laws, as I told you already, that is not consideration for violating the law, that is not the consideration for violating the law, so it is not a supply. Next, any employee terminating the employment contract before the period. So if he is not serving the complete period, notice period, etc., for which the employer is forfeiting his salary, so that is punishing the employee for not fulfilling his contract. That is also not consideration for agreeing to tolerate something, so it is not taxable. But here if you see certain cases where late payment surcharge or fees, for example, sir, if you go and try to purchase a mobile, the mobile shop owners itself nowadays they are saying pay after 30 days, pay after 60 days, pay in 3 installments, pay us so much extra, that's all, like that. They are giving you an option for making late payment. They are not punishing you for making late payment, they are giving you an option of making late payment, but they want some extra consideration. So in such cases what is happening, they are agreeing to tolerate you making late payment. Okay, so for extra consideration, so in such cases, yes sir, it is treated as supply, and the amount whatever they are charging, they will the amount will be treated at par with the principal supply. Okay, suppose if it is a mobile phone and you are purchasing the mobile phone charged at 12% GST, for example. If they are asking you to pay 300 rupees extra, 400 rupees extra for allowing you to pay the amount late, 30 days late or 40 days late, etc., that 400, 500, whatever extra they are charging, that also will be treated as what? Treated as sale of mobile phone. For example, here see one more case, like cancellation charges. Nowadays if you see, mostly with respect to hotel industry, the travel industry, all that stuff, when you are booking the flight ticket or train ticket, there will be an option refundable, non-refundable, all that. So if you pay 250 rupees extra, 300 rupees extra, all that stuff, what they are doing, they are giving you an option to cancel the ticket also, right? In such cases, for example, if it is a train ticket in AC, sir, it is taxed at 5%. That ticket you are cancelling by paying cancellation charges 150 rupees, that also will be taxed at 5%. Here they're agreeing to tolerate, no problem, you cancel, pay us this much consideration, we will arrange another alternative and we will pay you the ticket amount fully, don't worry. So cancel, like that they're giving an option. They are not punishing you for canceling the ticket, they are giving you an option to cancel also. So they are agreeing to tolerate you canceling, so the amount will be treated at par with the principal supply. Suppose for example, if it is a sleeper ticket in train, it is exempt under GST, so the cancellation charge is also what? Exempt under GST. Okay, so that is the situation, clear? So at par they will be treated with the principal supply. There is one more doubt, sir, regarding the minimum electricity bill we pay, no, monthly, whether you use it or not, at least for 50 units, 100 units, will be paying that 150 rupees, 250 rupees extra, so etc., something like minimum amount, correct? So the doubt was, are we punishing the consumers for not using that minimum electricity? No, it is not like that, sir. We are selling electricity, and for selling electricity, this much minimum amount is my bill, 150 rupees minimum starting package. So like that they are selling the electricity and they are taking the consideration, so it is supply, and of course it is very much exempt under GST also. Yeah, so there is another clarification there. And there are certain cases like where they're forfeiting the advance amount paid for agreement to sell the immovable property. You know, normally when we are buying the land or selling the land, buildings, etc., we will enter into first an agreement. We'll pay 20%, 25% advance, and we'll agree we'll pay that balance amount in 30 days or 60 days, 90 days, based upon your understanding. And after paying the balance amount, we'll get the land registered. So that way we'll agree. Now we will also tell initially, if you don't pay the balance amount within the specified time of 90 days, 60 days, 30 days, we will forfeit the advance. We will not repay you the advance back, return the advance back. Okay, so that way we'll agree. So in this case, the forfeiture of that advance amount, is it consideration for agreeing to tolerate your breach? This is also similar to breach of contract. Here we don't want people coming and just doing some time pass. We want to sell the land, correct? It is not like, okay, you breach the contract, you don't come within 30 days, you don't come in 60 days. Even if you are not coming and paying, don't worry, I am okay with the advance amount, I'll forfeit the advance. That is not my agenda. My agenda is to sell the land, not to forfeit your advance. So this is also similar to breach of contract. So whatever the forfeiture is happening, so it is not a supply, because there is no agreement to tolerate the breach. Okay, so that is the case. Next, there are 2 points here which I did not give actually. Sir, here for example, we have a building, 7 floors building, east facing, nice sunlight, nice ventilation, everything. So we are getting proper ventilation. Next to our building, another fellow got a permission to construct 20 floors. And if he constructs that 20 floors, the ventilation, the sunlight, everything what we are getting, that will be definitely gone. Normally sun rises in the morning 5:30, 6 o'clock. Now for us, if that fellow constructs the building, for us the sunrise will happen afternoon somewhere 11:30 or 12 o'clock. Okay, so what we are doing, we are asking that person, sir, even though you got permission to construct so many floors, sir, reduce 3 floors, sir, or reduce 4 floors, sir, we'll pay 40 lakhs, 50 lakhs, 1 crore, 5 crores for you, please don't construct so many floors. Like that we are asking, and that opposite fellow is also like, fine, okay, no problem. He's agreeing not to construct the higher number of floors for a consideration. So that is supply. So there is an agreement not to do something, there is an agreement to do something, there is agreement to tolerate something, and for that agreement there is consideration also. Then obviously it will be treated as supply. So it is supply and taxable. Okay, of course. Sir, we will be seeing, for example, outside a ladies fancy store, there will be a pani puri Anna will be setting up his pani puri stall kind of thing. So the hawkers we call on the roadside footpath, where there is a common entrance area for the shops. Outside that there will be some mehendi shops or pani puri shops or stalls that way. So the shopkeeper is allowing the hawker to operate from the common pavement, even though it is a disturbance for his customers, for his business, all that stuff, for which he is charging some consideration from the hawker, from the pani puri vendor, all that, right? So the shopkeeper is agreeing to tolerate the hawker, the pani puri and operating from the common pavement. So there is an agreement to tolerate that, and there is consideration for that. So that is treated as supply as well. Okay. Now, so that means the overall summary, the overall understanding of this concept is nothing but, please understand, sir, there should be an agreement between you and me. It need not be writing, it may be in oral or written, whatever it is, sir, there should be an agreement to do something or not to do something, or to tolerate something, for which we are accepting some consideration. That is the case, it is supply. Otherwise, in simple terms, penalty, penalizing you, punishing you because I have incurred some loss, taking compensation from you, all these things will not be considered as consideration for agreeing to do something or not to do something or tolerate something. That will not be supply. So penalty, punishment, compensations, leave it, it is not a supply. But consideration to do something, consideration not to do something, consideration to tolerate something is supply. Okay, so that is what the clarification all about, in which they have covered multiple situations. See, the next clarification is regarding the joint venture transactions. In joint venture transactions, normally there will be members in joint venture, and there will be one operating member who will be operating the things, all that stuff. So the contribution what they are receiving from all the members in the joint venture, what is the tax treatment for that? See, now for example, in the joint venture there are 5 parties, and each party is contributing 200 rupees, and totally they have pulled up 1000 rupees. Using this 1000 rupees, the operating member has purchased a certain thing for the joint venture. So taking money from these people and buying something for the joint venture. But taking money here is nothing but transaction in money. I am receiving money from them, from the joint venture members. So it is not a supply, because it is purely transaction in money. Or there can be another story where I am the operating member of the joint venture. So there is a pulled up amount 1000 rupees. This 1000 rupees, sir, why I am taking this now? Not to buy something for joint venture. Sir, as an operating member, I am providing something to joint venture. So for that, I am receiving that contribution from them, 1000 rupees collected. So now this is nothing but for the services I am providing to the joint venture, the consideration I have collected. So that is supply, and that is, am I clear? So whatever the contribution they are giving for purchasing some common goods or services is fine. whatever the contributions they have made for the services, for the supply provided by operating member to joint venture, then here there is a supply happening by the operating member to the joint venture, and the joint venture is paying consideration to the operating member. So you have to see in that way. So that is what the clarification here, right? So that is joint venture clarification here, it has been given. Okay. The next clarification is regarding Pagadi system. See, generally we know that if there is sale of land or building is happening, there is no GST, because we understand that is immovable property. But normal people's understanding, the common man understanding is we are already paying stamp duty, the registration charges, all the stuff. So there is no GST. That means stamp duty, registration charges, if they pay, there is no GST according to them. So they got a doubt that there is a system called Pagadi system, and where we are transferring the tenancy rights, so lease. So when they are entering into the lease agreements, they are registering that in sub-register office, paying the stamp duty, registration fees, all that stuff. And they got a doubt: is GST applicable in this case? Because we are paying stamp duty and registration charges. Then the department has clarified, sir, you are paying stamp duty or registration charges. That's a different story. But what is that you are doing here? You are renting the immovable property. When you are renting the immovable property, it is nothing but supply of service. You are allowing somebody to use the immovable property. In schedule 2 also we have seen it is nothing but supply of service. So hence it is supply and taxable accordingly. Okay, so that is what the clarification. So the next clarification is regarding priority sector lending certificate. Priority sector lending certificate. See, first of all, what is this priority sector lending certificates actually? Now see, for example, as per RBI guidelines, there are some priority sectors for which the bank should do lending. For example, let us take agriculture or MSMEs, etc. There is a bank, Bank 1. What this bank is doing, as per the norms, as per the guidelines to them, their target is at least they should provide 70 crore worth amount to priority sectors. But what they did 100 crores. That means they have done extra. They did over performance. Okay. So what they will do now, the excess 30 crores, whatever is there, no. For that, they will create a certificate called priority sector lending certificate, and they will sell it to another bank. They will sell it to another bank which also has a target of giving priority sector lending, but they are not able to achieve that. So now what this second bank will do, they will purchase this priority sector lending certificates from bank 1, which makes them, they have satisfied that priority sector lending conditions or criteria. So bank 2 also know for what, for 30, let us assume for 10 crore worth there is a shortfall for bank 2. What they will do, they will buy 10 crore worth priority sector lending certificate from bank 1. So that will be like 10 crore conditions satisfied for them. Okay, so that way those banks which are not able to achieve the targets of priority sector lending will buy the priority sector lending certificates from the banks which have achieved the targets. Okay, so now let us assume 10 crore worth PSLC has been sold to bank 2. Now what is happening here? What is the tax treatment here? Na? The law has clarified that these are not in the nature of securities. These are not in the nature of securities. Okay, so PSLC are treated at par with goods, and hence it is treated as supply of goods and taxable. So that is the another clarification for you. So with this we are done with the clarifications. We can move on to the next one, schedule 3. So the next one we are going to see is nothing but schedule 3. Schedule 3, what is schedule 3? Neither supply of good nor supply of services. So whatever the items given in schedule 3, you know that they are not at all supply. It is neither supply of good nor supply of services. So what are the activities given in schedule 3? So number 1, you know, obviously employer and employee. Employee providing his services to the employer in the course of employment contract is neither a supply of good nor supply of service, hence it is not subjected to GST. So here if you see the interesting things, as I have already told you, whatever is part and parcel of employment contract, the salary, perquisites, everything is nothing but not a supply, so no GST. But if anything is provided on principal to principal basis, which is outside the contract of employment, all that, then it is supply, it will attract GST. And here see now, for example, sir, any amount received by the employee from employer on premature termination. Premature termination is also part of employment contract. So whatever is given is not a supply. Next, the services provided by the casual worker on daily basis. No matter whether you are paying the wages on daily basis, weekly basis, or monthly basis. Employee is an employee, so not a supply. Next, casual workers in construction contract, all that stuff, there is also not supply. Workers are workers, employees are employees, so obviously sir, it is an employment contract and there is not a supply. Next, services provided by employee to the employer in the course of employment contract are outside the realm of supply, that we have already understood. But suppose if the employee is leaving the organization and the employer is asking don't join the competitor. There is non-compete agreements. Then whatever the employee is agreeing not to enter into competing business or not join the competitor, so for that he is getting consideration from the employer which is outside the contract of employment. So it is supply. That is very interesting thing for you. This is not a part and parcel of employment contract, so it is not a supply. So this is regarding first entry in schedule 3, neither SOG nor SOS, that is neither supply of good nor supply of service. Next, the second one, services provided by courts or tribunals, that is the court fees whatever you pay when you go for filing an appeal, all that, that is neither supply of good nor supply of service. And here there is like this court includes what, district court, high court, supreme court, all these things. And that also covers consumer dispute redressal commissions. So whatever the disputes you are taking to consumer dispute redressal commission and whatever the application fees etc you are paying, see, generally these are not tribunals but they have the characteristics of tribunal. So what the department has clarified here is, so whatever the services provided by these people are also covered under schedule 3, neither supply of good nor supply of service. That is the second one. Next, third one. The third one, in third entry there are again 3 points. Number one, I can just tell you for your remembering purpose or for your memory purpose, politicians with power, that means you can take the MLAs, MPs, member of panchayats, all that stuff. So the salary what they are drawing, being the people's representatives, that is neither supply of good nor supply of service. You cannot say that they are employees of public, so it is not employment contract, so it is not covered there. So anything else, so I can just tell you simple terms, politicians with power, that means the members of parliament, members of legislature, MLAs, MPs, members of panchayat, member of municipality, sarpanch, ward member, corporator, councillor, all these things, and other local authorities is neither supply of good nor supply of service. Okay. Next, the next one is with respect to any constitutional post you are holding, for example president, vice president, chief justice of India, prime minister, chief minister. For that, see, even though you are an MLA, being a chief minister you will get extra salary. So that whatever the post created by constitution that you are doing, there is neither supply of good nor supply of service. So that is the third one here. So the second one, the third one, the final third one is, you are acting as a chairperson, member or a director of a body established by central government, state government or local authority, and who is not deemed as an employee. If you are deemed as an employee, obviously will come under first category. So here you are not an employee but you are acting as a chairperson, member or a director of a government body. So example, as I told, independent director of BSNL company. Sir, BSNL is a government company, so government body established by central government. If you are acting as an independent director there and getting remuneration, it is not a supply. But same if you are an independent director of TCS company, then it will be treated as supply. Okay, hope you remember the reverse charge mechanism entry of director services also. We will see in reverse charge mechanism the connection with this, and we'll have an analysis of director services. Okay, so that is number 2. Sorry, number 3. Okay. Next, the fourth service, we can say rest in peace services actually. So the services of funeral, burial, crematorium, mortuary, including transportation of deceased, these things are also neither supply of good nor supply of services. The government is saying, may your soul rest in peace at least after your death without paying taxes, like that. So they are saying these are not at all a supply. Okay, so this is the next one. Next, coming to the next one, sale of land is neither SOG nor SOS because it is not a good, it is not a service. Sale of building subject to paragraph 5b of schedule 2. If you remember, we have discussed under construction buildings, if you are paying an advance amount, then totally becomes supply of service, except those cases. Remaining any case, if you are selling a building, then it is not supply of good, not supply of service. If you remember, we have discussed an example also there, diamond apartment. Yes, there is an example which I have just displayed, so you can just go through that. So simple, under construction buildings, neither supply of good nor supply of service. But if it is any other case, so automatically what will happen? So automatically it is not a supply. Under construction building, supply of service. Okay, so that is what the fifth point. Next, the sixth point, actionable claims other than specified actionable claims. If you remember, I told you when I was discussing goods definition, remember the word actionable claims. I will discuss about that later. But actionable claims, generally we don't have any intention. If you remember Sale of Goods Act, in Sale of Goods Act, goods definition, actionable claims is not included. But here in GST we are adding actionable claims definition mainly to target lottery, betting, gambling, not any other actionable claim, not anything which is satisfying the meaning of actionable claims. So what they said, in goods definition they have added actionable claim, and in schedule 3 what they are doing, they are again saying actionable claim is neither supply of good nor supply of service except specified actionable claim. So what they are trying to tell, sir, they are trying to tell that specified actionable claims. Specified actionable claims. Other than that, remaining any actionable claim is not a supply. Then what will happen to specified actionable claim? Specified actionable claim will be treated as supply of goods. Simple, supply of goods. But sir, what do you mean by specified actionable claim? Specified actionable claim means nothing but lottery, betting, gambling, casinos, online money gaming, and horse racing. Remember, lottery, betting, gambling. We play all these three in casino, and we play all these things online. So online money gaming and one odd man out, horse racing. These six people are called specified actionable claims, and if you are providing them, it is treated as supply of goods, and hence it will attract GST just at a rate of 28%. Simple. Okay, enjoy gambling, right? So that is what the point. Now coming to the next one, out and out supplies, that is merchant trading. Sir, what do you mean by this merchant trading? Now please understand, when one person is selling the goods to another person from a place in non-taxable territory to another place in non-taxable territory without such goods entering into India. Now see, for example, Mr. Vamsi Krishna is purchasing goods from China. Vamsi Krishna from India, he is buying the goods from China and sold it to Mr. John in Brazil without bringing that goods to India. This is called out and out supplies, where the goods without being brought to India are being sold outside the taxable territory itself. Then whether at least goods are coming to India, no sir, they are not coming. Then it is neither treated as supply of good nor supply of service, so it is not a supply. Okay, so that is next one. And the last one here in schedule 3 is nothing but sir, inbound sales. Inbound sales, supply of warehoused goods. In inbound sales, we have two things actually. Sir, here, sorry, in this particular entry, we have two things which is important for you. 7th and 8th point are important for you. So here, when the goods are being warehoused and before clearance for home consumption itself, they have been sold, then it is not a supply. No GST on that. Or sir, high C sales. That means when the goods are coming from outside India, I will just show you one example also on this. When the goods are coming from outside India, before clearance of home consumption, the goods are being sold in the high seas itself. That means by endorsing the documents of title, sir, the goods are being sold even before clearance for home consumption. Then we call it as high sea sales. So the goods are simple. They are on high seas. That means they are in transit. Simple. Now, when that is being done, that is neither supply of good nor supply of service. Now, both of them I will just give you with a common example. See, understand. Mr. Donald is selling goods to Mr. Vishnu. Donald is from USA. Vishnu is from India. Vishnu is from India. Sir, when he's selling the goods, he's sending the goods through Titanic ship. Of course, the ship is not sinking, don't worry. So the goods are coming, and while the goods are coming, sir, what Vishnu did? Vishnu has the document of title over those goods, and that document of title Vishnu is transferring to Mr. Vihan. So this is neither supply of good nor supply of service. We call it as what? This is nothing but IC sales. This we call as IC sales. So this is neither SOG nor loss. Next, what Mr. Vihan is doing, Mr. Vihan is taking these goods and depositing them in the warehouse. He is not clearing the goods for home consumption. He is depositing the goods in the warehouse. And now when the goods are in the warehouse, Vihan is selling these goods to Mr. Varun. So this we call as inbound sales. This we call as inbound sales. This we call as inbound sales. Okay, so in such case, sir, this is neither supply of good nor supply of service. Now when Varun is clearing these goods for home consumption, Varun has to pay basic customs duty and IGST. Okay, on what value he will pay, that we will see in a different chapter, but this is how the scenario works. Okay, so with this we are done with this particular entry. So we are done with schedule 3. Now we are moving into the next 7 subsection 2 clause B. Nothing but the government has given, the law has given powers to the government to release any notification to declare anything as neither SOG nor SOS. So the panchayat and municipality undertaking the functions which are entrusted to them as per article 243W and 243G is neither supply of good nor supply of service. I have given some examples, you can just go through that. And alcoholic liquor license. So state governments giving liquor license to anybody is neither supply of good nor supply of service. But please understand, this relaxation is only for liquor license, but not for mining license, telecom license, any other licenses. This is only purely for, you know, our favorite liquor license. Okay, I mean favorite for the government to generate revenue. Okay, so that is the case. So this is what with respect to the notifications, and there are some clarifications here. One super duper clarification, my favorite clarification actually. So this clarification is all about the clarification is all about here. See, I'll just tell you with an example. There is Orange Travels. Orange Travels is operating a bus from Chennai to Hyderabad. So they are in Tamil Nadu also, they are in Telangana also. Both the states they are registered. Now if you see that they are registered in both the states but a same person. But because they have two registrations, we will be calling them as distinct persons under section 25 subsection 4. Now what is happening now? They are transporting passengers from one state to another state. And they're transporting passengers from one state to another state. Incidentally, what happens? Something called bus, which is a movable thing, which is good. It is also moving from one distinct person to another distinct person. So I repeat, this concept is not about transporting the passengers. The doubt is not about the taxability of transporting the passengers. The doubt is about when these two distinct persons are there. From one distinct person in Tamil Nadu, the bus is moving to another distinct person in Telangana. So there is movement of goods. Schedule 1 para 2, if you strictly apply supply of goods between distinct persons, okay, then it is without consideration. But in the course of furtherance of supply, furtherance of business, I repeat here, the concept is not about transportation of passengers, not about transportation of goods. It is all about movement of bus from one distinct person to another distinct person. Okay, that movement is obviously called as supply if you strictly follow schedule 1 para 2. So people got a doubt and asked department. Then department said, "Arey yaar, what is this actually?" So they felt the seriousness of this provision later on. And imagine, what if a train, let us assume there is a Chennai Express coming from New Delhi to Chennai, traveling across so many states. How many trains Indian Railways will be operating every day across how many states? So you can understand the practical difficulty here. So they said the movement of conveyances, leave about bus, whether it is bus, lorry, taxi, whatever it is, train, aircraft, ship, vessel, whatever you call, any conveyance moving from one distinct person to another distinct person for the purpose of transporting the passengers. Why the bus is moving here? The bus is moving here because they are transporting passengers, that is transporting the goods, or that is being moved for repairs and maintenance. In such cases, that movement is not treated as supply. I repeat, that movement is not treated as supply. Transporting the goods is supply, transporting the passengers is supply, doing repairs and maintenance is supply. But moving the vehicle for the purpose of transporting passengers, moving the vehicle for the purpose of transporting the goods or repairs and maintenance, I repeat, that movement is not a supply. That is what we have clarified here. Sir, no sir, I am taking this, for example, bus or lorry or a car from one distinct person to another distinct person to sell that car or bus from that another distinct person's location or state, then that is supply. That means the movement is for what purpose? Not for transporting goods or passengers or repairs and maintenance. The movement is for the purpose of further supply of such conveyance from that particular distinct person. So I give example here, sir, I am registered in Tamil Nadu also, registered in Kerala also. I am a dealer in cars. I have cars in Chennai, Tamil Nadu, and those cars I am transporting from Tamil Nadu to Kerala. For what purpose? To sell them from Kerala. Then this is supply, because the movement of cars from Tamil Nadu to Kerala is happening not for transporting goods or passengers, but for further supply of such cars from Kerala. Okay, so that is what the concept. That is what the concept. Hope it is clear for you. Okay, right. So that is what the clarification, which actually I liked a lot, because understand the interpretation levels of people. Okay, and the same logic applies even for the rigs, tools, spares, and all other goods on wheels like cranes, all the stuff. The same clarification, mutatis mutandis, is applicable. So it is equally applicable. Then that is also neither SOG nor SOS, neither supply of good nor supply of services, except where the movement is for the further supply of same goods. If you are moving this rig, tools, space, all the stuff, even for further supply from such particular distinct person, then only it is supply. Otherwise it is not a supply. Okay, so that is what with respect to clarifications. So additional conditions to attract GST, obviously what the supply shall be made by a taxable person and supply shall be a taxable supply, the normal things. So with this we are done with this particular concept. Okay, hope it is clear for you all. Coming to next one, section 8, composite supply and mixed supply. If you see composite supply and mixed supply, a simple concept. When do we refer this section 8, composite supply and mixed supply? Sir, for one single price, if you are getting more than one supply, so bundled supplies are flowing towards you for one single price. Then what is the tax treatment? Whether it should be treated as composite supply or mixed supply. Sir, it depends upon purely one fundamental question, that is whether these supplies are naturally bundled in the ordinary course of business or not. If they are naturally bundled in the ordinary course of business, obviously then it is called composite supply. And whatever the principal supply is there, whatever the principal supply, that is the predominant supply in that bundle, that will be treated as principal supply. The whole transaction will be treated as supply of such principal supply. Whatever the GST provisions are applicable for that particular principal supply will be applicable for the entire transaction. For example, sir, you are buying a mobile phone where you are getting for 15,000 rupees, you don't know the breakup. For 15,000 rupees, you are getting the phone, charger, phone case, all that stuff. Okay, 12%, 18%, 28%, like this. In such case, what is the tax treatment for this? This is a bundle of supplies flowing towards me for one single price. In such cases, what is the predominant supply? That is what I have to understand. So whatever is the predominant supply, for that what we will do? Sir, we will identify that. So here the predominant supply is what? They are naturally bundled. When you are buying a phone, obviously, unless you are an iPhone user, the charger, phone case, obviously nowadays you will be getting it together in the box. So because they are naturally bundled in the ordinary course of business, the principal supply, predominant supply in this is nothing but mobile phone. So whatever the provisions are applicable for the mobile phone, for the entire supply, all these provisions applicable for mobile phone will be made applicable. Mobile phone is a good, so entire transaction will be treated as supply of good. Mobile phone is subjected to 12% GST, so entire supply is treated as subjected to GST 12%. So that is what the concept. For example, if you are going and booking a room in a Taj hotel, 9999 room charges per day or per night for whatever it is. Sir, you are getting accommodation services, complimentary breakfast, free free Wi-Fi, gym, swimming pool, newspaper, all these things for one single price. In that case, sir, here what we should see, what is the principal supply, predominant supply. These are naturally bundled, obviously. Why they are naturally bundled? Sir, generally when you are going and taking a room in any hotel, based upon the cost and etc., they give you so many amenities so that they want you to feel like you are at your home. So that way they try to keep you more comfortable. In such cases, they are bundling all these supplies which are nothing but naturally bundled in the ordinary course of business. So what is the predominant supply? Predominant supply is I'm going to the hotel not for complimentary breakfast or not for the free Wi-Fi. I'm going there for accommodation services. So predominant supply will be accommodation services. The entire transaction 9999 will be treated as supply of accommodation services. Whatever is the GST provision applicable for that accommodation service, for the entire transaction the same tax rate will be made applicable. So that is what the tax treatment. Now you will get a doubt, sir, how can you determine whether these are naturally bundled or not? Any formula is there for this? This is not a plus b whole square, my dear friend. So it is like there is no standard formula here to identify whether they are naturally bundled or not. It depends upon case to case. So there is a scope for litigation here. You should always be careful or cautious before taking a decision. So before taking a decision whether they are naturally bundled or not, we should be going through certain various other factors, like what? Large number of recipients reasonably expecting them as a package, or majority of the competitors may be providing it as a package. The nature of various supplies, the bundle itself will tell you whether this is naturally bundled or not naturally bundled that way. Or there are some other indicators like single price the customer pays. No matter whether he is using all the items in the package or not, he will pay the same amount. And they are normally advertised as a package. Different elements are not separately available. Can you go and swim in the swimming pool of Taj Hotel saying that, sir, I want to do swimming here for 1 hour, I'll pay 150 rupees? That is not possible. So that way they are forming part, like integral part of one overall supply. If you remove one or the other, the nature of the supply itself would be wholly affected. For example, now I provide you classes, but I don't give you material. Sir, when the material is removed, the nature of supply is obviously affected or not. So that way, if you remove one element from the bundle, there are chances that they may be like affecting the supply. So that way you should take a cautious call whether they are naturally bundled or not. So as we have discussed, if they are naturally bundled, then that will be treated as composite supply. Whatever is the predominant supply, you identify that, and the entire transaction, the tax treatment will be according to the predominant supply. Sir, what if they are not naturally bundled? If they are not naturally bundled, then we call it as mixed supply. So what is the tax treatment for mixed supply? The tax treatment for mixed supply is whatever in that bundle attracts the highest rate of tax, the entire transaction will be treated as such supply which is attracting highest rate of tax. Now, for example, on your favorite festival, that is Feb 14th, you go to any shop, you'll be finding this gift box where you have dairy milk, silk, rose. I tried my level best to draw a rose there, and teddy bear, greeting card, keychain, all these things. So in this bundle, sir, there are so many items which are subject to different GST rates. Are they naturally bundled? Of course not. In that case, what is the tax treatment? Sir, it will be treated as mixed supply. If it is mixed supply, what is the tax treatment? This entire package of 999 rupees will be treated as supply of dairy milk, silk, which attracts highest rate of tax in that particular bundle. So that is what the tax treatment. So what is the tax treatment? When more than one supplies are flowing towards you for one single price, sir, the tax treatment is identify whether they are naturally bundled or not. Naturally bundled, principal supply. So whatever is that tax rate and the tax treatment for principal supply will be applied for the whole transaction. No, sir, they are not naturally bundled. Identify the supply in that bundle which attracts highest rate of tax. So the entire transaction will be treated as such supply which is attracting highest rate of tax. Sir, how do I decide whether they are naturally bundled or not? That depends upon facts and circumstances. It is based upon the situation. So please take a cautious call there, right? So that is what all about section 8, composite supply and mixed supply. Here there is a small clarification of CBIC that, see, when servicing of cars is done, where both goods, that is the spare parts, and service, that labor is provided, and in that case, sir, they are shown separately in the invoice. There the CBIC clarified GST shall be charged separately. For this, who went for CBIC clarification? I seriously don't understand. So fine. So the goods and labor, the services and labor, whatever the spare parts involved, are separately shown in the invoice. Now you can tax them accordingly. So that is what section 8, right? And there is one more thing here regarding taxability of samples and gifts and buy one get one free offer. See, please understand, when it is a free sample and a gift given, obviously free sample and a gift given, that means that there is no consideration at all. If there is no consideration, we know it is not at all a supply. But certain cases, even though there is no consideration, we call it as supply. Which cases? Schedule 1 cases. So when there are free samples and gifts given, you should see whether that free samples and gifts given, are they falling within the scope of schedule 1. If they are falling within the scope of schedule 1, then it is called supply. Otherwise it is not a supply. Simple, because there is no consideration. Or the next case is, sir, buy one get one free offer. In buy one get one free offer, sir, what is the tax treatment here? Please understand, when you are getting buy one get one free offer, there are two possibilities. For example, I am buying one 5-star, getting another 5-star free. So here, what is the tax treatment? Tax treatment, you need not worry at all. Why? Because you are giving 10 rupees. Actually, you should get one 5-star. You are getting two 5-stars. So how does it matter for your tax treatment? Only the column of quantity in the invoice will change. Instead of getting one chocolate, you are getting two chocolates. Tax treatment will remain same. No change in GST rate, nothing. The good is same, the service is same, correct? So if you are getting buy one get one free, the same product, no need to worry at all. But if you are getting buy one get one free, a different product, for example, you know, when you are like buying a hair oil, buy a hair oil, get a face wash free. Even the companies knows that the Indian moms will apply the hair oil in such a way, definitely the child will be needing the face wash immediately. So what they will do, you buy one hair oil and get one face wash free. So like that they are offering. Or you buy a surf excel powder, you get a bucket free. Buy one get one free offer. In such cases, sir, what will happen? We should see whether they are naturally bundled or not. You might be thinking, sir, obviously these are not naturally bundled, it is a composite mixed supply. But you understand, for example, if I tell you, buy my classes, get books free, they are naturally bundled. So buy one get one free offer, if the goods are completely different, you should see again whether they are naturally bundled or not. If they are naturally bundled, then it is a composite supply. If they are not naturally bundled, it is a mixed supply. So now there are some other miscellaneous clarifications here. In this first one is regarding the printing activities. See, generally, for example, I have prepared the book and I'm going to the printer and giving him the content, the soft copy of the book, for printing the book and giving to me. Now the printer is providing goods to me or services to me. He's printing, let us assume, some 1000 books and giving to me. Is he giving me supply of goods or supply of service? Same way, when you go to get your pamphlets or leaflets or envelope covers, annual reports, brochures, all these things printed, sir, what is that they are doing? See, you are going to the printer mainly, predominantly for getting the printing services. So how do he print the content what you are giving? He has to print it on the air. No, he has to print it on some material, and that material is obviously becoming your brochure or a pamphlet or a leaflet or a book. So here predominantly why you are going to the printer is getting for printing services. So in such case, it is treated as supply of service. But now the another interesting thing is, for example, you are going to buy a tissue paper for your restaurant, tissue papers, or you are going to buy some envelope covers for your office. When you are going to buy the tissue papers or envelope covers, the seller is telling, sir, pay me 1 rupee extra for every tissue paper or for every envelope cover. Pay me so much amount extra. I will also print your company logo or office logo, or on the envelope cover, I'll print your from address, the office address, and give it to you. So here you are buying the tissue papers also, and also they are printing your logo there. You are buying the envelope covers also, they are printing your from address there. So in such cases, you are also getting goods, you are also getting printing services. But sir, here what is predominant thing? Here the predominant thing, you went to buy tissue papers, you went to buy envelope covers, you went to buy some office stationery. Incidentally, they are printing your office logo, etc., etc. All this. So in that case, it will be treated as supply of goods. So what is the predominant thing? Clear? So printing anytime when you are getting certain things printed on like books or pamphlets or brochures or envelopes or annual reports or leaflets or cartons, boxes, etc., where it is printed with a design, logo, name, address, or other contents. In such cases, is it goods or service? That depends upon actually what is the circumstance. Okay, so that way it can be supply of service also, supply of goods also. Now coming to other clarifications. Sir, whether bus bodybuilding is it supply of goods or service? Then again, bus bodybuilding, whether it is supply of goods or services, it depends upon facts and circumstances. So it may be supply of goods, it may be supply of services based on various situations. Okay. Next, retreading of tires. This also there can be supply of goods or supply of services. See, for example, retreading of tires means what? The retreading of tires means you are processing the old tire and making it into a new tire. For example, I am retreading the tires. You are bringing me your old tires, I am doing the retreading process and giving it to you. That is supply of service. Or I am going to every puncture shop in the market, buying the old tires, doing the retreading process, and now selling the retreaded tires. So this is supply of goods. So I procure old tires and do retreading and sell them now. Supply of goods. You bring your old tires and I do the retreading and then give it to you, then it is supply of service. Simple one. Sir, what about food supply to the patients? Food supply to the patients, please understand, if at all it is an inpatient, that means the patient who is admitted in the hospital. For that patient, if you are supplying the food, it is nothing but part and parcel of your healthcare service. So it is treated as composite supply of healthcare service and not charged separately. But if the food is supplied to patients who are not admitted or their attendants or visitors, for example, when you are getting admitted in hospital, your friends will come to meet you in the hospital. Okay, maybe to see the nurse or you, that's a different story. But when they come there and they eat in the canteen or etc. in the hospital, all that, sir, that is not supplied to inpatients. So that will be obviously taxable. So that is what with respect to the fifth one. Sixth point already we have seen. So already discussed one. Buy one get one free or free samples and gifts, all that. So already discussed. Now seventh one, the very important one. So the seventh one is when you are going to theaters, movie theaters, you are buying the food and beverages. Some people will go to theater only for eating popcorn. That's a different story. So for such people, sir, we are selling the ticket also, we are selling the food and beverages also. What is the tax treatment? There the department has clarified. If the food and ticket are billed together, then it will be treated as composite supply. The predominant element is sale of ticket here. So the total transaction will be treated as sale of ticket and will be charged accordingly. No, they are billed separately. The ticket billing is separate and the food and beverages billing is separate. So ticket is obviously, you have understood that it is treated as supply of service of exhibiting the cinematographic films, and supply of this food and beverages will be treated as restaurant services. So food and ticket in theater charged together, sale of ticket, consider it that way, supply of service. Now food and beverages are charged separately, ticket is charged separately. So food and beverages, treat it like restaurant services and tax it accordingly. That is what the point. Right? So next, point 8, taxability of shares held in a subsidiary company. There was a doubt here. Sir, holding shares in a subsidiary company, is it a supply? Holding shares in a subsidiary company, how it becomes supply? Mere holding of securities, does it become supply? No, you are providing something to your subsidiary company, goods or services, that will become supply. Mere holding of securities doesn't become supply. So that is what the concept here. Mere holding of shares in a subsidiary company doesn't become supply. So that is what the point. Now the next one, The important one, GST on warranty replacement of parts and repair services during the warranty period. What is this clarification all about? So now replacement of spare parts, etc., etc. I will take a small example here, and based on that let us understand this. Now see, for example, I have a car. Now for this car, let us assume this is car. Please excuse my artistic skills. Now for this car, imagine, let us assume the silencer has some issues when I have purchased. So there are some issues with silencer. So what I am doing, I am going to the showroom. So that means I can say here it is nothing but dealer. Now what this dealer is doing, dealer is saying, Vishnu sir, this is in warranty period, we will do free replacement because this is in warranty period. Now what is the tax treatment for this? Sir, what is the tax treatment for this? Sir, there is no GST here because it is free. No GST for the free replacement of the spare part. And even though they are saying it free, technically whatever the replacement period, etc., etc., all these things, they would have made a calculation and they have added that in the cost. So even though for the namesake it is free, sir, it is the cost of all these things they would have estimated and that would have been added in the cost of the car. So the GST losses, even though you are saying it free, it is technically not free. So no need of any reversal of ITC. No reversal of ITC also required. Okay. So this is the story of what I want to replace my silencer, car silencer, because it is in warranty period. No consideration they are charging. And no reversal of ITC also involved. Am I clear with this? Now coming to the next step. Sir, here the showroom dealer is making the replacement here, correct? But what is the tax treatment for this? Because the showroom dealer, he will charge this to the manufacturer. He will charge this silencer to the manufacturer. That means how this showroom dealer is getting that silencer is what important, because to do this free replacement, all that stuff, that is the responsibility of the manufacturer. So on behalf of manufacturer, the showroom dealer is doing it. For the customer, from Vishnu's point of view, from my end, they are not charging any consideration from me. There is no GST. But here, sir, to do this replacement, the showroom dealer uses a silencer. Now who has to bear that? The manufacturer has to bear that. So what can be the various possibilities? Now please understand that generally the manufacturer is selling the spare parts to the dealer. Dealer is also selling the spare parts to the customers whenever they need, whenever they buy, apart from replacement activities actually. So whenever the customers are coming, that spare parts the dealer is selling. Now sir, my car silencer dealer, the Honda showroom dealer, is doing the replacement. So for that, first thing, what is happening now, he is already buying the spare parts from the manufacturer and using. In this replacement period, whose responsibility to replace this? Manufacturer responsibility. Who is doing it? The showroom dealer is doing it. When showroom dealer is doing, who should give silencer? The manufacturer should give. What is happening here now? Showroom dealer, the Honda car dealer, is saying, sir, I have already a silencer, I have purchased from spare parts, so that I am using. So for example, now, so what can be the possibility now? Sir, manufacturer will sell the spare parts to the distributor. So what distributor will do? That distributor means, here I am talking about the showroom dealer. Distributor sells the spare parts and raises the invoice to the manufacturer for spare parts. That means the dealer has purchased the silencer from the company, Honda company. What the Honda car dealer is doing, the showroom fellow, because he is using the silencer. See, he has purchased it to sell to customers, but he is using the silencer for replacement period, which Honda company should do. So what he is doing, whatever the stock he is having, he is using that silencer, and then he is raising invoice to Honda. Sir, this silencer I have used, you pay consideration for that and pay GST. So they will pay GST and close it, and of course the Honda company will take ITC. Or there is another option. What is another option? For example, the Honda company would have purchased 100 silencers from Honda company. The dealer would have purchased 100 silencers. So Honda company gave invoice for 100 silencers to the dealer. Now what dealer will say, sir, 100 silencers I have purchased, sir, but one silencer I have used for your purpose only, no, for your free replacement only, no. So I will not pay for 100 silencers. I will pay only for 99 silencers. So for this one silencer, he will ask the Honda company to raise a credit note. So what will happen? Honda company will raise a credit note on the Honda showroom dealer, and the dealer will reverse the ITC accordingly. Am I clear? So the distributor uses the spare parts and asks the manufacturer to raise the credit note. So the manufacturer will raise the credit note, that is the Honda company raises the credit note on the dealer, and this fellow will reverse the ITC, proportionate ITC. That is why the ITC comes down for the showroom fellow, the dealer. Clear? So these are the possibilities here. So manufacturer is selling the spare parts to the distributor. Distributor is using the spare parts which he has purchased. One option is, because he has already purchased, now it is like indirectly he is selling it to the manufacturer again. So he will raise a new invoice on the manufacturer, charge GST, manufacturer will take ITC. No, what is another option? Manufacturer already sold the goods to the spare parts to the distributor. Those spare parts he is using for free replacement, which is the responsibility of manufacturer again. So what he will do, he will ask the manufacturer, sir, reduce my invoice, because out of 100 silencers I have purchased, 1 silencer, 5 silencers, 10 silencers I have used for your free replacement. I will not pay money for that. Then the manufacturer will say, okay, no problem, I will raise credit note on you. So no need to worry. And as a recipient, the showroom fellow, the dealer's ITC will come down because he has taken a credit note from the manufacturer. That is the possibility. Now, sir, manufacturer is selling the spare parts to distributor. Distributor is using those spare parts. Fine. What if manufacturer is not selling any spare parts to the distributor? Manufacturer says, hey, any free replacement comes, you tell me, I will send the goods to you, you use it. So manufacturer is not selling the spare parts to distributor, but manufacturer is sending whenever the free replacement is there. Silencer you need, you just place an order like this, free replacement, one silencer came, I will send the silencer, you use it. Now please understand, manufacturer sends the goods first and distributor uses them. Where there is consideration here between manufacturer and distributor? So no GST, nothing, no GST implication. Or manufacturer already has sent some silencers and that is there with the showroom person, the distributor, and he is using them, and later on, sir, I have used already whatever you have given, so send some more, like that he may send a request. So then also the distributor first uses the goods and then manufacturer sends the goods, then also no GST implication. Both the cases, manufacturer is just sending the goods to the distributor to use them and distributor is using them. There is no GST implication at all here because no consideration has happened between manufacturer and distributor for giving this spare part. Okay, so that is what the whole concept here. Sir, the one more interesting, the further step of discussion here is, so as I was telling, the next interesting step here is nothing but, see, okay, replacement of spare parts, everything is done. See, first of all, we are discussing so long the spare part replaced here, the silencer. But for replacing the silencer, the distributor, that is the car showroom dealer, what he will do, he will use some services. He is providing services to me, that is the car owner. What they are doing, they are providing services of replacing the part. That means goods is involved, silencer example. Fixing the silencer is also involved. There are two things. We have spoken about the goods element. Now what is about the service element? Service, it is a free service to the customer. For customer it is free service, sir, but that means it is nothing charged to the customer, it is free for customer. But the car showroom dealer, the distributor, what he will do, he will raise invoice to the manufacturer, because manufacturer's responsibility is, when the free services are provided by these distributors or car showroom people, to make the payment to them. So this fellow car showroom dealer, what he will do, he will raise invoice on the car manufacturer and manufacturer will make payment. So just like supply made to car manufacturer, there is supply of service and there is GST, and manufacturer will take ITC of it. Simple. So I repeat, replacement of goods, goods portion we have discussed, what is the tax treatment, and we have also discussed service portion, fixing that goods which has got damaged, all the stuff. So for that, customer will not get any tax implication, there is no GST, nothing, but the distributor will raise invoice on the manufacturer, so obviously that will be subjected to GST. That is another step. And one more next step or next thing here with respect to this clarification is, sir, hope it is clear till now. And the final thing here is, as I have explained here, this is regarding replacement service. So this is regarding servicing. Okay, the last point is regarding in this particular clarification, in this particular thing, sir, whether GST would be payable on extended warranty to the customers. What do you mean by this extended warranty to the customers? You will be seeing, no, whenever you are purchasing a mobile, for example, there is a warranty for the display 1 year. They will say you pay something extra, 500 rupees extra, 2000 rupees extra, will give you 2 years extra warranty. So like that, the warranty period will get extended. You are buying a TV, sir, they will say for TV display so many years warranty. You pay 5000 extra, we will extend the warranty. So we are talking about the tax treatment about this extended warranty. So what is the tax treatment for this extended warranty? There are two possibilities. First of all, whether this extended warranty is given at the time of buying that product itself or later on. If that is given at the time of buying the product itself, then please understand, if the extended warranty is provided by the supplier himself, I am buying the mobile phone, let us assume in Sangeeta Mobiles, sir, Sangeeta Mobiles itself is giving me extended warranty, then it is nothing but, see, part and parcel of the main supply, so treated as composite supply and will be taxed accordingly. That means it will be treated as supply of mobile phone only and will be charged accordingly. It is not taxed separately, it is added to the entire supply and it is treated as composite supply. The principal supply is supply of mobile phone in the example. Entire transaction, even that extended warranty, will be treated as what? Supply of mobile phone, right? Next one, sir, if at all when I am buying this mobile phone in Sangeeta Mobiles, in the mobile store there is a person from Bajaj Finance, he is saying, sir, you pay 1000 rupees extra to us, we will cover extra warranty, extended warranty for this mobile phone. Whenever you are angry, throw the mobile phone onto the wall and let the display get broken, we will replace it, sir, don't worry. Like that, they are giving the extended warranty. So now extended warranty is provided by a different person altogether, then it is treated as a separate supply, taxed as a supply service. But please understand, this will be like when this is provided at the time of buying the goods. What if later on, after 6 months, I have understood my BP levels have gone up so much, so whenever I am just getting frustrated, I am throwing the mobile. So in such case, I want to go and take extended warranty for safety, because nowadays if you see, mobile will be like 1 lakh rupees, and if there is any display is broken, the display itself is costing 60-70,000. So that should not be the case. So we are going for the extended warranty. So when I'm going for extended warranty now, no matter extended warranty is given by the mobile shopkeeper or any other separate person, both the cases, that means when you go for extended warranty after the supply is over, it will be treated as a separate supply and will be taxed accordingly as a supply of service, no matter whether it is provided by the supplier or by the third person, it does not matter. Okay, so that is what the point. The next point is regarding, see, generally to manufacture a chemical called linear alkyl benzene, they need a chemical by name N-paraffin. This N-paraffin people will extract from superior kerosene oil. So whoever is manufacturing lab, that is linear alkyl benzene, so first they will procure superior kerosene oil. From that superior kerosene oil, they will extract N-paraffin, and balance superior kerosene oil they will return. Okay, so now for example, that they are procuring 1000 liters of superior kerosene oil. After extracting N-paraffin, let us assume they are returning back 400 liters of superior kerosene oil to the person from whom they have purchased. So 1000 liters they have purchased superior kerosene oil, 400 liters they are returning. So the GST applicability is what? GST applicability will be on the net quantity. So that is on 600 liters only the GST will be applicable. So that is what they are trying to tell here in this clarification. And one more interesting thing is, same logic is equally applicable to the petrochemical and chemical product manufacturers. What they do is, they procure this petroleum gas and they will extract whatever the petroleum gases or whatever the chemicals required for that and return back that petroleum gas. So as I was telling, petrochemical and chemical product manufacturers, so they will collect petroleum gas, retain the required chemicals and return back the balance again petroleum gas. Same logic here also, whatever is there the net quantity, on that net quantity only GST is applicable. So the next one, I don't know which intelligent fellow got this doubt actually. So the doubt is regarding, we'll be seeing there will be so many ventures which will be like selling the lands, etc., etc. People will be doing, purchasing acres of land outskirts and they will be leveling the land and they will be selling the plots. Somebody got a doubt, sir, after leveling the land, we are selling that land in plots. Whether it is supply, whether it will attract GST. After leveling the land, land remains still land. It doesn't become a cricket bat, right? So it is still immovable and it is not a supply. But the process of leveling the land, the process of constructing the compound wall, the process of putting up the drainage lines or putting up the electricity infrastructures, all that stuff, these things will become supply. But sale of land after leveling the land, still it is a land only, it is immovable property, so it is not a supply. So the final clarification is here. Please understand, generally the Indian companies will allot the holding company or subsidiary company, whatever is there in foreign company of that particular entity. So Indian entity, I repeat, for their employees, they will be granting the shares of their holding company, which is a foreign company. In that case, what is the tax treatment is the doubt here. I'll show you here with the notes here. I'll explain you. So please understand, sir, there is a subsidiary company of a foreign company in India. So domestic company is a subsidiary company, holding company is a foreign company. Domestic company, it is giving to its employees of domestic company, the shares of foreign company, the holding company. For example, if you see the employees of Amazon company here in India, the software developers, etc., they get Amazon company, the foreign company shares as the part and parcel of their package, all that. So a simple example. So now the concept here is, so that way any domestic company is granting shares to their Indian employees, the shares of foreign company, holding company, which is located abroad, and the shares are directly allotted by the foreign company to these employees, the holding company to these employees. In that case, please understand, allotted by foreign company, but these are granted by what? This is given because of the subsidiary company. So giving securities is not a supply, because it is not a good, it is not a service, first thing. And one more thing is what, sir, it is not a supply because it is a part of employment contract. Okay, so the transaction between the subsidiary company, the domestic company, and the employees is not a supply, it will not attract GST. Now the interesting thing is, because the foreign company, the holding company, is granting the shares to the employees, what this foreign company will do? The foreign company will take from the subsidiary company the reimbursement for the cost of those shares. If at all the subsidiary company is paying only the cost of that particular shares, then it is not a supply. But if that subsidiary company reimburses something extra, then it will be treated as supply and will be subjected to GST under RCM, because it is treated as importation of services by subsidiary company from the holding company. So it will attract GST and it will be treated under RCM. So that is what the concept. So we are done with supply chapter. Hope you have enjoyed this. See you all in another video. Enjoy your reading. This is your Mr. GST signing off. Jai Hind.